Mic's on. Check, 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 check. Yep.
Do you mind if I go first and introduce you? Well, look at this crowd. This is a great crowd. I'm excited to see you. My name is April Younglove, and I am an adult services librarian here, and I help organize events like this. We have a musical event every first Tuesday at 5:30. So hopefully you're here to see music, because that's what's gonna happen. Shout out also, big thank you to everyone in the crowd who helped put out chairs today, because we have so many people. That was beautiful. I love to see so many people helping. Today's musician is going to be Peter Ali, and this is a special Native American Heritage Month presentation with all kinds of Mesoamerican flutes. Next month, if you come back, we're going to have a musician that makes his own instruments. He's from Lake Oswego, and his nickname is Three Hand Steven, because apparently when he plays, it looks like he has three hands and he's playing so fast. So that'll be fun next month. I have a little bit of housekeeping before we get to hear this fantastic music to get through. I really want you to know that this presentation and all of our musical presentations come with the help from our Friends of the Library Foundation. If you feel like donating, there is a little box in the back where you can slip some money in. If you wanted to just become a member, it's not that expensive. It's only 25 bucks. And there's little slips of paper, and you could do that if you wanted. And other things that they do, they help pay for the Lake Oswego Reads program. They help fund the summer reading program, and all sorts of cultural events like this one. You can also shop at their boutique, where they resell our used books, and that is over on 8th Avenue, right by City Hall. Some people think that's the library, but it's not. Also, if you would, we have cookies and tea. If you would fill out a survey before you leave, that really helps us. And so just take a cookie, fill out a survey, and then you can reward yourself for filling out a survey with a cookie. I'd love that. We also have assistive listening system. Ask at the library desk if you need that. We do have some devices out to help you on that far back table with the cookies. And that's it. So, without further ado, I'm going to give you a little bit of background about Peter. Peter has been here several times before, but kind of a gap in between, so it's okay if you haven't seen him yet. You're in for a treat if you have not. He was here a couple years ago, and we're excited to have him back. He plays all kinds of flutes. So Native American cedar flutes, Mayan-style, Toltec-style, Norwegian, Middle Eastern. If it's a flute, he plays it. And Peter has all kinds of interesting heritage that he draws on, and that's part of why he is interested in playing these flutes from all different places, because he himself is from all different places. He's Moroccan, Mexican, Yaqui, Italian, and Spanish. This is a wonderful performer, a fantastic storyteller. I'm pleased to turn it over to Peter Lee.
Thank you. Wow. Who's that guy she's talking about? Holy cow. Well, thank you very much, Friends of the Library, Lake Oswego, the city, and everybody involved, and everybody that's here. Just a show of hands, how many of you have never heard me before? Oh my goodness, that's almost everybody. Okay, well, I'm not a local guy, as you know. I'm from Bellingham, Washington. And so I do Oregon quite a bit. I love coming to Oregon. I've already, again, been to the Tillamook main branch. Played there this summer, and I did, again, another year just recently playing at the Seaside Library. So up where I live, I do a lot of libraries, because they do have a lot of cultural things, they have budgets for, music and art, and I do that as well as plenty of festivals, work with some of the tribes in the area, work with some Indian education programs, and sort. I used to teach flute making at Northwest Indian College at Lummi and Tulalip, the Coast Salish tribes up north, and these are made from kits. I'll show you a little bit later in the program and all. I don't know how to make a flute from scratch, so to speak. I don't have a garage full of tools. The kits are made by a family company that I've known since the day one. And so, but anyways, yeah. And I love, I think for me is you have something good to share, you should share it as far out as you can and stuff. And I can at least drive to Oregon from where I live. I would go further and stuff, but anyways, no, Oregon is good for now and stuff. And I have done Eastern Washington. I just recently played in Colville. I used to do the Fall Folk Festival in Spokane. I opted not to do it this year. But the furthest of, I think, that I've played in Oregon is Dallas, Oregon. And so and it's been like about 4 or 5 years since I played there. But tomorrow I'll be at McMinnville, and that's where I'll be. And then the last library gig I have, I think, is for this month is in Stanwood, Washington. So, anyways, I do have some Native American Heritage Month stuff going on as well. So, anyways, I want to recognize also the original people from here, the Coast Salish people. I know there's a couple different tribes in the area and stuff, and I just didn't have time to gather any information. But I also just want to acknowledge that you're on the ancestral homelands of the Coast Salish people that were here and still here. And all, and as April said, I'm not Coast Salish. I have a mix of different heritages, and that's part of my story as well. You know, and my grandfather played the flute too, so that's kind of what helped push that along. So it's really nice to see so many people here, and I have been at places where I'm come to a library to play, and there's only 3 people in the audience and stuff. And so, but that's okay. That's fine. For me, I see the room full. That's how I see it. All my ancestors are here. My grandfather, my father. Someday I'll be an ancestor, but not today. And so, but anyhow, so, and all the people that came before them and whatnot. So, but what a nice way the city and the library is doing to celebrate National Native American Heritage Month. And for me, that's all of the Americas, not just the United States. All of the Americas and stuff, because my indigenous ancestry is from the Americas on my mother's side, from Mexico. See, it does have possibly a bit of Yaqui, but Mayo and Pima as well. Not Pima from Arizona, Pima from Mexico. There's upper and lower Pima, and then the Mayo, not Mayan people. And then my dad's indigenous as well. Yes, the Middle East has indigenous people. My dad is Berber, which is really not the original name. It is Amzea. And so Berber is a name that was given to them by the Greeks or the Romans, which means barbarian. But we're not barbarians. But they happen to name a rug after that as well. So anyways, so and then one other thing is that in trying to discover who I am as a human being here, I used to ask my parents constantly, what are we? And my parents would just say the same thing. You're half Moroccan and half Mexican. And I thought to myself, no, those are places. Who are we as people? Well, they couldn't tell me. And so, and that's just part of the story and all. I just thought that we were more than that. And I knew Mexico were Native people. It's kind of a no-brainer. And so, but anyways, I'm going to start with a song. Let's see. Check. And by the way, I didn't make any of these instruments that you see up here. These are all made by different people. Guillermo Martinez, Stellar Flutes, Singing Tree Flutes, Low Newland, Butch Hall, to name a few. Oh, and Ken Light, who makes flutes for our Carlos Nakai. Thank you, thank you. I don't have a name for the song. I'm just making it up. And so, uh, the reason I started playing over 20 years ago, and I seem to say that every year, because I kind of lost track when I really started, was because I was going through a divorce, and it was traumatic, and I needed a way to heal. So for me, this is medicine. This is medicine. These are not just pieces of wood with holes, and so there are a lot more to me. And so I'll share that story. I was separated, and at that time I was living in Paulsbo, Washington, and it was my second marriage. And anyways, I went to the local coffee house, and then I decided, oh, I want to walk downtown. You know, everything's really close by. And it was a nice sunny day. It was a Saturday, and I believe it may have been in the summer. I can't remember exactly, but there was like an art fair going on. It was really cool by the waterfront, and so I could hear flute music being played, and I was kind of drawn to it. And so I walked over to the vendor, and this guy and his son had Native American style flutes for sale on a table. And I walked by, and because there was a man that was standing behind their table playing their instruments, and this guy, you might know him, he's an Oregonian. His name is Charles Littleleaf from the Warm Springs Reservation. And he was there playing their flutes, and I was quite taken by it. And I was listening to it, and it really pulled my heart. And at the time, I had wished, oh, I wish my wife was here, you know. This is so good, this is so healing. But that, of course, did not happen. And so I came back the next day, Sunday, and I listened to him some more. And I talked to him, Charles Littleleaf, and I met his fiery Italian wife, Vicky, nice lady. And so he gave me a CD, and he talked to me for a bit, and then I talked to the flute makers, because they said, you can try one of these. And I said, oh, no, I don't know how to play any instruments, and I'm too shy. But anyways, about a month went by, and then I decided to drive to the home of the flute maker in Shelton, Washington, the home of Stellar Flutes, the Stewart family. And so Tom Stewart put his flutes back out on the table, and I got to pick one. And I made that decision, and that's kind of where it started it all. Now, many years later, for those of us who play the instrument, we say, oh, no, I didn't pick that instrument, it picked me. And I have it with me today, and I still have it. I might play it today, and it's a Alaskan yellow cedar. It's a beautiful sounding flute in F sharp. These are all keyed in Western scale, if you're wondering. These are all in, I think, the 5 or 6 note pentatonic scale. I have no idea what that means. It doesn't matter to me, and all, because I did get a book and how to play it with how to the fingering and all this sort of thing. So I basically taught myself how to play, and just by spending time with the instrument. So I don't read music at all. I don't know notes, major, minor, none of that. And so I just play in the traditional way from my heart. That is how you play this instrument. The flute I played just a moment ago is a Lakota style flute, a Plains style. This is one of my favorite flutes. It's in the key of A. It's a good starter flute for people, A or G, and such. And this is made by Guillermo Martinez, Quetzalcoatl Flutes, from California. I met him one year at the Bellevue Festival of the Arts. And so, as you can see, I have quite a few of his flutes, because the block on the top here, this is what guides the air. It has nothing to do with tuning. So this is one of my favorite flutes because it was endorsed by Buffy St. Marie, and she signed it. If you don't know who she is, she used to, I don't know if she still does music. I think she's in her late 70s. She's been around since the 1960s. She's more of an activist for First Nations people. And also John Trudell had signed it. But if you don't know who John Trudell was part of the American Indian movement. He passed away a few years ago. I met him at Northwest Indian College, and he did sign the flute for me, and this was kind of a big deal, but it faded, because when you use a Sharpie on something that's already coated, it will fade and such. But anyhow, a little background on this flute. Okay, so now I'm going to play a woodland style flute. The woodland people of those who identify is Cherokee, Choctaw, or Iroquois. This flute was made for me by Lowell Newland. Lowell Newland is Cherokee and Choctaw. He's also a Vietnam vet. Okay, and so this was his medicine. This is a great guy. Unfortunately, he moved away to another state, but he made this one for me. It's a woodland style flute, different from a plain style flute. It has a very bright sound to it. This is in the key of B. What I know about Lowell when he talked about Vietnam was he was a door gunner on a Huey in his time in the service. I remember those days because I was a kid. I remember, I think Vietnam ended in 1975. I graduated high school a year later, so pretty close for me. But when he came home from Vietnam, which I'm glad he did, he was taught how to make flutes, and this was his medicine for PTSD. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I forgot to mention, you're more than welcome to record me, take pictures. You're not going to infringe any copyrights because I'm just making it up. But I do have CDs, and those are copyrighted songs and on there. So anyways, I have those over here with me. So if you're interested, I know who has a CD player anymore in their car. I still do because I have an old car, yes. So I played for my dad so many years ago when he was still around, and he looked at me and he said, your grandfather was a flute player. And I go, oh, really? I said, why didn't you tell me this when I was growing up? He goes, I didn't think it was important. So I tell young people, anybody that's young in the audience, ask your parents questions, ask your elders, your aunties and your uncles, who am I? Where do I come from? Because that was always my big question, other than like I said, my parents said, oh, you're just half Mexican and Moroccan. And I go, that's all, so sometimes people don't know, or they're just too afraid or whatever to talk about their culture. But, I did the whole 23andMe thing. Of course, you have to do it. Because I knew I had Native ancestry. I just knew it. I felt it in my bones. And when the results came back, they said, yep, you're 19% Native American from the Americas. And my mom, that's from my mom's side, and mostly Southern European. And of course, my dad, of course, Morocco, Sub-Saharan Africa, North Africa, and some other really crazy places. I found out that I have a great-grandfather 5 generations back from Siberia. And I have a Nordic connection to Finland. You can tell by my tan. So, but anyways, if you did not know, the Vikings, who were like kind of all over the place, used to trade with the Berbers or the Amazigh people in Morocco. And I learned this from a guy who was very knowledgeable. I like Yule Fest, and so I went to a thing up in North Seattle where all the Nordic people live. And it was a Yule Fest thing going on, and I met this vendor, and he said, "Oh yeah, the Vikings used to trade with them and all the time and stuff." And I thought, well, how cool is that? So I'm going to play a flute that would be sounding similar to what my grandfather would have played. He played a nai, and it's an ancient flute from the Middle East. They have found them buried with the pharaohs. I have a connection to the pharaohs as well, and so. I have one, but they're really hard to play. It would probably be like somebody coming to me and say, "Can you play the shakuhachi?" No. They're difficult to play as well. So a lot of Native American style flute makers make a flute that's Hajaz scale. So this is a Middle Eastern scale. It's a Native American style flute in Middle Eastern scale. And the holes are offset differently, and this is in the key of A. Now, when I play this, I like to tell people before I play it, and they go, "Oh, snake charmer," and I'm like, "Oh, no. That is stereotyping." I went to Morocco when I was a young kid with my mom and my sister. We went to visit my relatives. My dad stayed home, and I didn't see that. That's a Western thing, and such. And it was cool because I got to meet my cousins. I don't speak Arabic. I only know a couple words. But they all spoke Spanish because Spain is right across the Mediterranean, and they were colonialized, just like Mexico, because Spanish is not our language. It is not our original language before the Spaniards came in and such. And so, at any rate, it does have that Middle Eastern sound to it. So it makes me think about the places of where my peeps came from. So I hope that you'll like it. Do you have a question? Yes, ma'am. Yes. It'll be a variation. It'll be a variation, yeah. So now, I don't rehearse either. Unless I have to do something with other musicians and stuff, I just pick it up and play. And so that's the magic of the instrument. Because I know people will go, "Ooh, do you do lessons?" And I go, "Yeah, 20 minutes, that's it." So, yeah, because people want to, can I spend an hour with them, whatever? Well, I'll show you how to hold the flute and how to find the notes, and then the embellishments and whatnot, and then you're on your own and stuff. I mean, you can find music online for these instruments, tablature, or actual written music if you want to learn songs. I like to play my own songs. That's how. Maybe I have my ancestors guiding me, or it's in my genes. But yeah, I mean, I can play. I can probably at the end of this, I'll play a song that you might recognize. I can play "Ain't No Sunshine" by Bill Withers, but I have to hear it. It has to be in the key of A and stuff. I can't just start playing it. But there's a couple of different songs I can play, and I'll play towards the end. One is from a soundtrack, and the other one is "I Won't Tell You." So. Yeah, you feel free to ask me any question you want. More or less, but on the CD that I have a friend, Dean Evanson, and his wife, Dudley Evanson, and they're musicians since the 1970s. They play world music. Their record label is called Soundings of the Planet, and so they do world music. And they're in their 80s now, and whatnot. But Dean asked me if I would go into their studio and play with them because I'm friends with them. I said sure. So it is my first professionally produced CD, and this was 4 years ago or so. It's still their bestseller, and stuff. I mean, they have a lot of music out for meditation, you name it. And so I have a new CD coming out. They told me because they have a lot of my music and a collaboration with other musicians. I don't know when it's coming out. But anyways, I'm excited about it. This particular CD I have for sale. I'm asking $15 for it. I don't do electronic payment because I don't have to. Because people go, "Don't you do it?" No, 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 no. And so, but you can find it if you like to stream. It's on Spotify, Apple, Pandora, and some of those other platforms. But at any rate, yeah, we work together in the studio because he plays silver flute, and so and he's very accomplished, and so we worked together, and we had a really great engineer who recorded us, and really it sounds really good. It sounds really good. Now we haven't played with each other in quite a while because he has Parkinson's. And he barely plays anymore, but he still does play a little bit. Okie dokie, I'm going to play you something that's different. Yes. Yes. Oh, yeah, I can do that. Oh, okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you. This is a double flute. It's a Mesoamerican style flute, kind of styled after Mayan flutes. Mayan flutes were made out of clay. A lot of them were. You can still find them, but this flute maker and a lot of them make them out of wood. So this is a flute maker from Oregon, Singing Tree Flutes and whatnot. And so it took me a year to get this because a lot of flute makers are back ordered and stuff. So it's got a very nice sound to it. It is in the key of F and B sharp, I think. At least that's what's written on it anyways. I'm sorry? Oh, she asked what kind of wood it's made out of. It's made out of walnut. Walnut. So traditionally, Native American flutes are made out of wood or cedar, and they were not traditional to here. The Coast Salish people didn't play these. No, not at all. I mean, contemporary people, contemporary times, yes. Modern times, yes. But bone whistles were around, but not these. Not these at all. I did go to the museum up in Vancouver, not north of here, the Canada, Vancouver. And so there was a flute in a glass case from the 1800s, and it was made by somebody who was Haida. And it was carved out of ammonite. And so it resembled recorder. And so it was used for trading when the Europeans came. And so I thought that was fascinating. Now, I have a flute that I found in an antique store, of all places. It's an artifact. I didn't bring it with me. It's 100 years old. And so I made a deal with the guy who was selling it, and I put it on layaway for 6 months, and I got it. And so it doesn't play, but I kind of wish I had brought it. But anyways, I keep it in a safe place because it's fragile. So anyways, they're wonderful instruments. Let me see here. Oh, did somebody have their hand up back there? I thought I saw a hand back up there. Yes, ma'am. Did you have a hand up? Somebody? If I could play a flute without the mic. Okay. Here's without the mic. Got to turn your hearing aids up too, really. I forgot mine. Thank you. Could you hear that? Okay, this flute, by the way, is in F sharp. It's made by a native flute maker I met in Sedona. His name is David Wolfsrobe. He is also a veteran. I'm trying to think. Anyways, he was in one of the conflicts that the United States was in. I'm blanking right now, but anyways, this was the very last flute that he made, and so, and it says "last flute" on it. So, Gulf War, yes, that's it. He was a veteran of the Gulf War, and I don't know what tribe he is, but I met him there. He was playing a gig at one of the resorts there, and I got to hear him and talk to him. Nice guy, and so I could tell in his voice that he's also been through trauma, and he was taught how to make these instruments. And so, but after I followed him on Facebook, and his doctor said, you can't be working in the shop anymore because of the sawdust. It's not good for you, and his health wasn't good. So he told everybody that followed him that he can't make flutes anymore, and he only had so many left, and I got the very last one. And so, he signed it for me, and it's dated 11/4/2015. Okay, so all my flutes kind of have a story to it. So as you can see, this is another Lakota-style flute. You can see the bird, you can see the beaks. Okay, I had one just like this, exactly like this, and I'll tell you the story about it. I play at Northwest Folklife every year, not since its inception because I haven't lived in Washington State that long, but long enough, And so it's a 4-day festival, if you don't know about it, with music from all over the Pacific Northwest, Memorial Day weekend. And usually, if I'm lucky and I get my app in, I get a spot to play on stage, and then I do a workshop. Anyways, it's a lot of stuff to carry, and the only thing I don't have to carry is what you see here is the PA system. So I always park on the 3rd level of the Mercer Street parking, and I'm hauling all my stuff with me, and I'm trying to put everything away, and I get distracted easily, and so I'm getting in my car, and I get on Mercer, then I get on the freeway, I-5 North. Well, guess who I left on the roof of the car? Yes, indeed. So the loon did get to fly. But anyways, in not a very good way. So I called Guillermo Martinez and I said, can you make me another one of these? And he goes, why? So he makes me another one, and here it is. And then I played it as some event somewhere in North Seattle, and there was a kid in the audience, and the kid, he goes, that's not a loon. I go, what do you mean? That's not a loon. It's a bird. Yes. He goes, nope. That's an evil rabbit. Yes, you can see the ears, the eyes, and the grimace. So I can't forget about it now. And I told, kid, get out of here. So anyways, this is an F sharp, which is also known as the grandfather key. The flute is made by Guillermo Martinez from California. Something completely different. Flute with no holes. Well, it's got one on the top. But before I play it, I wanted to share, again, the story of my diversity, so to speak. How did your parents meet? Like Morocco, Mexico? How does that happen? Well, we go back in time a little bit. We'll start with my father's uncle, Uncle Ahmed. And Uncle Ahmed was a veteran of the Spanish Civil War. He left Morocco because this is what my dad told me. And I met him too. I was just a little guy, and oh yeah, Uncle Ahmed, cool. And so I liked him, a nice old guy. And he said, well, yeah, he had to leave Morocco. He ended up in New York. I go, why? Because he was a hitman. And said, oh, okay. So anyways, of course, Uncle Ahmed is long gone. But the story goes, he ended up in New York. He would meet the woman that he would marry. She ended up there. Now, this woman was in New York with her brother and her brother's new sister. Or, no, her brother's new wife, I'm sorry. Her brother's new wife. And and her father. And so, and here's the clue: they were in New York, escaping from their country because the brothers, her brother's new wife was German Jew on the onset of World War II. So they got out of there. Oh, and her dad was involved with Hitler's army somehow and didn't want no part of it and got out of there. So I have to say it was probably in mid 1930s somewhere. And so they ended up in New York. So this man, my dad's uncle, met this lady from Germany, and they got together somehow, and they moved to California, and they had a chicken farm. And so after the war, in the early 1950s, my father had a chance to come to America. He came on the Andrea Doria. Yes, yes, most of us, yeah, we know about the Andrea Doria. If you watch the History Channel, well, not today's History Channel, but you'll find out about it. It was a famous Italian steamliner that was hit by the Swedish ship, the Stockholm, in the Atlantic Ocean, and the Stockholm made it to the Atlantic coast, but the Andrea Doria went down. My dad wasn't on that sailing because he wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't be here. And so, but he did make it over. He lied about his age. He was 14 years old. And my mom still has a picture of him with a cigarette in his hand. So, very handsome young man. But anyways, so he came to the United States. He had to work on his uncle's chicken farm in San Diego to pay him back. And while he was doing that, he met a Hispanic worker, and they became friends because they could speak the same language. Obviously, Morocco, Mexico, colonialized by Spain. Okay. His Spanish was a little different, a little bit from Spain, being around so close to Spain. But anyways, he said, que vengas y visitar mi familia. Come and visit my family. So he went to visit his friend who lived, who I like to say, across the imaginary border into Mexico. And there's the town of Tecate. And of course, you know, beer comes from there too. And so anyways, he met this family. And in this family, there was an adopted girl. They did not like each other at all. After 2 years, here I am. And so they got married in Tecate, Mexico. I believe my mom was 18 years old when I was born. And my dad was 21, I think. My mom is still around. She's in her 80s. My dad, like I said, is now an ancestor. So I'm the oldest of three. They had three kids. I'm the only one who lives in the cold, cold Pacific Northwest, as my mom would say. And after me, I have a sister named Yasmin, who lives in the Bay Area, and I have a brother named Michael. And so I didn't get a cool Arabic name like my father, Mustafa Amar Ali, and his dad, Omar Ali. So they were new immigrants, so they wanted to Americanize, you know, of course. I'm cool with Peter, so it's all good. It just paid hell when I was going up through school and stuff. You know, anybody who has a Peter name, Peter Pumpkin Eater, and you know. Anyways, it's all good, but I have no middle name, so it's real easy. Peter Ali, simple. So anyhow, that's kind of what I knew. And the German lady, she became my grandma. She was not my grandmother by blood, but she loved me like I was her grandchild. Because I never met my mom's parents because she was orphaned when her father died when she was little. So she was orphaned and she lived in many different places. So that had to be traumatic. And so I don't know what they look like. There's no pictures of them at all. And so, so Magda, it was her name, Magda. And Magda was an opera singer and a model of the 1920s and 30s in Germany. She was very beautiful. I loved her dearly. She used to let me play on her piano, and she made the best Braunschweiger sandwiches. So, okay, I'm going to play this guy right here. I'll tell you what it is after I play it. Okie dokie. So this is from Norway. So this is called Asala Floita. And so it's played throughout the Nordic countries. So all the Nordic countries, Denmark, Sweden, Finland, mostly played also by by these folks, these indigenous folks that I have a connection to. When I did my DNA, I did some more research, and I found out that the Amazigh people, the Berbers, have a DNA match with the Sami. And so if you don't know who the Sami are, they're also known as the Laplanders from the Nordic countries, the people that take care of their reindeers. And so I have a connection with them. So I told you, got some Viking going on. But it is also because the Vikings traded all over the Mediterranean as well. And so this I heard played in a YouTube video, somebody playing one of these in the fjords. And I'm like going, ooh, gotta have one. Nobody makes these in the United States. So because I went on the internet. So I found this instrument at a music store in Sweden called Fredman's Music. And fortunately, they can communicate in English. And so I contacted them and I said, I need a couple of these. And so I got one in D. This is in the key of D, and I have one in G. So basically, it's an overtone flute. The harder I blow, the higher the notes. The softer I blow, the lower the notes. My finger on the end of the tube changes the tonation. And so that's how it works. And it came to me with instructions in Norwegian. So I don't speak Norwegian, but I do know some words like how to say thank you, tak, tusen tak, mange tak, and jeg elsker. I love you. And that's an important word. And we need to say that more often these days. So anyways, so there you go. It's not, the other names for it was willow flute and sallow flute. Okay, and the Swedish call them shepherd's flutes. But anyways, so the story behind the willow flute is the guy would go to the willow tree in the springtime and get a branch, and there was some way to break the bark off the inside of the branch, and then you'd have a hollow tube, and then you would notch it in a couple different places, and then you'd have a whistle, and you could play songs. But it would only last you for a few days, and they would disintegrate. So in 1961, somebody figured out how to make them to play year-round. This is PVC wrapped in birch bark. And so, yes, a very unique instrument, and you can play. There's all kinds of cool songs you can play on these instruments. Okay, so here's a flute that is made by a flute maker, Ken Light. Ken Light makes flutes for R. Carlos Nakai. Anybody know who R. Carlos Nakai is? A few people, yes, indeed. R. Carlos Nakai, Robert Carlos Nakai. He's one of the guys who helped bring back this instrument. Him and a variety of other people like Kevin Locke, Robert G. Cody, to name a few, native and non-native people were involved in helping bring this instrument back to life. I met R. Carlos Nakai at where was it? At the Kirkland, Washington Performing Arts Center. Very nice man, and he used to come to Everett every other year and play there. I also met Kevin Locke as well. If you know who Kevin Locke, he's a traditional hoop dancer. He passed away during COVID, but not from COVID. He passed away from asthma. But he was a traditional. He was a Lakota, and he was Baha'i. I think his mother was maybe Jewish. I'm not sure, but he was a follower of the Baha'i faith. And so anyhow, Ken Light had these instruments on sale, and I saw this, and I go, ooh, because his flutes aren't cheap. So a week's pay, and I got this guy here. And so I'm exaggerating. But anyways, I met Carlos Nakai because I invited him while he was in the area also to come to our flute circle. For a while, flute circles were very popular. A lot of people used to go to them from all walks of life once a month, generally at a coffee house, and meet and talk and play and do cool things. Well, he came to ours and in Snohomish at a coffee house called Wired and Unplugged Coffee House, which is no longer there. And so his wife was his manager. She says, you can't take his picture and you cannot ask him to play. Okay, I'll respect that. And so, but instead he told stories, and we had a couple of kids in the audience play for him. So one of the stories he told us is that He was a Vietnam vet. I had no idea that he was a Vietnam vet. Okay, and he thought, yeah, it's a good thing to join the service. And at that time in history, well, of course, there's nothing wrong with that. His uncles were code talkers, and he wanted to continue that legacy. And if you don't know who the code talkers were, they were World War II. They were helping with the cause to fight fascism, and they spoke in their native language, and the enemy could not understand the language, and so that helped. Anyways, so our Carlos Nakai went to Vietnam. When our Carlos came home from Vietnam, he thought, this was a bad idea. We should have never been there, and all that. And so, and I have to say again, I remember those times too, those dark times in history. And he says, I keep my uniform in my closet as a reminder of that time. And people were going, why? And because my uniform had been pelted with eggs. As you remember, the boys, they came home, they weren't treated very well and stuff, and that was his reminder. So instead, he talks about we need to take better care of ourselves, we need to take care of each other, and take care of Mother Earth. And that's what his words, his philosophy for us, and also about talking about this wonderful, wonderful instrument. So if you don't have a voice, here's the thing that'll give you a voice. And I usually say this at the end, but for me, this is how I like to speak, through this, and this is how I also cry, and this is how I also pray, through this, because it's such a delightful sound. It can't offend anybody, really, and all. And my spirit is traveling through something that is great, like a tree. This was a tree. It was alive at one time. And what an honor it is, because as Native people, we believe our breath is sacred. And we don't think about it because we're breathing. We're just something we're always doing. But what a joy it is to take something like this and be able to send a message of light, so to speak. So anyways, I'm going to play this guy for you. And this is called Little Dog. It has a little dog on top. Little dog. All righty. Check. Okay, so this is the biggest flute I have. This is the smallest flute I have. I'm going to play this one first. Then I'm going to play a short song on the little flute. This flute is made by Butch Hall, flute maker from Texas. I got this flute from a friend of mine, and here's the story. This flute used to belong to Peter Pippin. Anybody know who Peter Pippin is? Peter Pippin is a world flautist from the Midwest. He's a Scandinavian. And I never met him, but we're Facebook friends. But I know him because he's also in the flute community. And so this belonged to him first. But he had a friend come visit him, and he's my friend too, named Paul Ninehouse. Paul Ninehouse worked on airplanes and flew airplanes, and he lived in Arlington. He still does, Arlington, Washington. And he got in his Cessna 210 or 310, which is a twin-engine civil airplane, if you know airplanes. Like, remember Sky King? Yes, Sky King. Yes, one of those. Yeah, he flew his air. I'm aging myself too. It's all good. And then so he flew his airplane to Minnesota or Wisconsin, wherever the Scandinavians hang out there. And so he met Peter Pippin, his buddy. And Peter goes, "Hey, Paul. Hey, what's going on, Peter?" And Peter goes, "Well, I got this gift for you." And Paul goes, "Wow, you're going to give me this flute?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm going to gift this flute to you." And Paul goes, "Wow, dude, how cool." So he gets his flute, and I'm exaggerating, no, of course. He gets back in a Cessna 210 or 310, flies back to Arlington Airport, and life goes on. Then I meet Paul because I love airplanes. I don't work on airplanes. I don't fly airplanes, but I love airplanes. Anything with a big old fan in the front. I love, love, love. And so, anyways, and I love flutes too. And so we became good friends. And one day Paul goes, "Hey, Peter." I go, "What's going on, dude?" He goes, "I have a gift for you." I go, "Wow, what's going on?" "I'm going to gift you this flute." And I go, "Wow, dude, how cool." So this flute went from Peter to Paul to Peter. Okay? So, no Mary, sorry. I know. For anybody younger, they're like, "Who?" So this is a bass flute in C minor. I know it's in C minor because it's written on the bottom. And so this is what I call my ghost flute. This is made out of poplar, not cedar, poplar. Oh, and not a good beginner flute for little kids because your finger would go in the holes. Check, check, 1, 2. April, I got like another 2 hours. And oh, you got to be kidding me. Oh, no way. Serious? I have 5 minutes? Oh, she goes, oh, okay, 10 minutes. Does anybody have any questions? Oh, yes. The question was, have I ever played any the other Indian flutes? Bansuri. No, no, ma'am, I have not. But I'm open to it. If if somebody had one, and if I didn't have to read music. So, did you have a question, ma'am?
You have enjoyed this so much for the last year, and I don't have an ear, of course, so you must change flutes as you play these selections.
Right, I do, yeah.
Okay, because all this time I've been listening, going, okay, that's a little different, but I didn't know what.
They are, yeah, they are a little different. You're not going to hear exactly what on the CD because it's in a studio kind of a format.
Very professionally done.
Yeah, it's a little bit different, and so, but that's a good question. She kind of was wondering how the CD sounds any different from what I'm actually playing. It's never going to be the same. It's never and stuff. So I think that's the cool thing about it. Well, I'm going to try to use. I knew I would. If I come back again, April, can we do like 2 hours, 2.5 hours? So. Oh, you know what? Yes. She goes, yes. I'll have you back next year. I'm going to be at the McMinnville Public Library tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Oh, probably, I was hoping 2 hours. I don't know. I forgot to look at it. Okay. All right, so here's the smallest flute I have. This is from a flute maker in New Mexico, Marvin Maldonado, who's from one of the pueblos there. This is a little copper flute. It only has 3 finger holes. 3 finger holes. So it's not a big flute, so it's going to be a short song. Okay, let's see if I can pull this off. Oops, Canyon. When I say healing, this has been a lot of other things for me, and I can say it in a short enough amount of time. The first cool gig I got to do was play for the Dalai Lama, and that was in 2008 because of my friend Gene Tagaband, who's Tlingit, and I played with my friend Swilcanum. Swilcanum, his English name is Richard Marshall. Swilcanum is Lummi. He is a classical violinist and storyteller. Before I knew these two guys, they were in Sherman Alexie's movie, Business of Fancy Dancing. And I didn't know who these guys were. Gene has been all over the place, and he's a flute player, storyteller, raven dancer. He's done a lot of cool things. And the three of us play together once a year. Used to play more often every year at Seattle Center on the 4th of July for the last 10, 11, 12 years on their naturalization ceremony that they do at Seattle Center every year on the 4th of July. And we're hired to come, and the 3 of us on stage, usually in front of an audience of about 500 people that are going to become naturalized citizens. It's every year. Doesn't matter who's in office. They're there. We love it. I love it because I am the son of immigrants, even though I have ancestors that were already here. And I'm proud of that fact. I used to not be proud of that fact because I used to get called names as a kid, and most kids, kids can be mean. And stuff, and I'm always looking in the audience and go, anybody from Morocco? And I did run over and find somebody and shook their hand and welcomed them and stuff, but it's a cool thing that I get to do with these guys. Way cool. And then that year, after playing for the Dalai Lama on Seeds of Compassion tour, later at the end of the year, I went to the doctor, wasn't doing so good, and I was diagnosed with cancer. And so at the end of the year? Yeah, in December 2008. After some advice that I should go to the doctor, I went to the doctor, and the doctor sent me to do an ultrasound. And after an ultrasound, I went to a urologist. And the urologist says, after a few minutes and blood draw, says, you have cancer. And so I don't mind sharing this with you because, gals are like all over the place about cancer in public, just for public awareness. Well, I had testicular cancer, okay, and that was kind of no fun. And so, but, we come with all these, like, kind of an extra part that can go bye-bye. And so it did. And so I did. I thought we were done. And so, no, I had to go see an oncologist after that. And the oncologist said, your cancer has traveled to 6 inches behind your belly button in your lymph nodes. And here's your choices, because cancer kind of gives you a choice. And so he said, well, you can get a second opinion, or we can do surgery, or we can do chemo, massive chemo. And I go, I'll take the massive chemo. And I wasn't afraid of that because it had already been cut into once, and I thought that was enough. And so I was treated at Providence in Everett. It was a Providence partnership with Everett Clinic. And so I spent 2009 from January to the end of March doing my regimen of chemo was Monday through Friday, 8 hours a day. And then the second week, one day with one kind of chemo called cisplatin, pretty nasty stuff. And then the third week to get the white blood cells to come back. And so I lost all my hair, and amongst things, I had long hair and a Fu Manchu. It looked very different. So, anyways, so I'm grateful beyond imagine that I'm here today because I had stage 2, and I had 2 kinds of cancer that they found. And so, yes, thank you very much. So for anybody cancer survivors, hey, my hat, thank you very much, because cancer sucks. You know, it really does. It's a hard look at life, and all I want to be is happy. I don't care to be wealthy or any of that sort of stuff. I just want to be happy and stuff. And you know, so I do this, and I share my stories and whatnot. And I love to do this. I hope to continue to do this. For as long as the Creator lets me. So, anyways, here's a song for y'all out there.
Thank you so much, Peter. Thank you, everyone, for coming. That was fantastic. We're going to wrap up, and you can have a cookie on your way out, do a survey, and I look forward to seeing you back next month. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Real quick announcement.
Oh, yeah, one more.
Oh, and I do have CDs for sale. They're $15, check or cash. I have in front here design from the guy who did my logo. Those are $50. And I do have I have 3 flutes left for sale. I'm asking $125. With those are brand new, and that's what I got. This is like a 2-minute song, 1-minute song. It's a half-minute song. No, okay, I can't do it. Sorry. Come see me tomorrow at McMinnville, and I'll play that song for you. No, way. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. Haishkasiyam, thank you. How's it going?
Good. I'm Ashwin.
Ashwin, good to meet you.
Thank you for your beautiful playing.
Oh, you're welcome.
And your vulnerability too.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. I just had a question. You know, in the native traditions that you've been encountering some of your friends and colleagues along in the northwest coast, is there like a tradition of like where flute makers and flute players kind of there's like a lineage, or is it kind of just whoever's interested picks it up and does it, or is it kind of a
It's kind of whoever's interested,
Okay.
and because there's not a lot of flute makers out here that are native flute makers, because this is Coast Salish territory. And also, my first flute was made by non-natives. Most of these are Native American style flutes, which means they're not native people or not card-carrying Indian.
okay.
So anybody can make them, but I understand there's cultural appropriation.
Right.
This is why I make sure I explain who played these and why, how I'm connected to these, and I'm not dressed on regalia or or change my name to some woo-woo, Indian name, that kind of thing, because I want to respect who these people were and stuff. So, but they're, you could play one, you could learn to make one, and stuff, and it would be a good thing. Because you're helping perpetuate the music and the light that these present. So I do have business cards up front. So just stick it in the box. Just stick it. No, I have Facebook, Instagram, and I have email. I don't have a website yet. I had one, but it was taken down. Yes, it's little.
I'm introduce myself very quickly. I have the same kind of tradition. I'm also black, I'm mostly known for exactly
You look like my mother. You look like my mom.
yeah. Well, I mean, I had people come out of those doors with the job accent. You don't look mixed.
I know.
All my life.
Stereotypes.
All my life.
Well, let's stay in touch.
We will.
Okay. And my email is on my card. Otherwise, you have trouble. Google me. You can find me.
Peter,
Yes.
I just wanted to ask you your last name again?
Ali.
Oh, Alec. Oh,
Ali.
okay. I wanted to have a friend of mine who lives in the Finland to come to your program
Oh,
tomorrow.
please do.
I said, what time would that be?
6 o'clock.
6 p.m.
Yeah, 6 p.m.
Yeah, at the library.
at the library.
Oh, I would love to hear that. Yeah.
Yes.
That's great.
Thank you.
And so the other thing was that you bring the name of that CD with the world music or something you said? What was that called?
With the little flute or which
No,
flute?
you
was it?
said about the world music.
You talking about the
Right.
Northwest Folklife?
Yeah, so the CD you're referring to.
The CD is right over there.
No, this is like your friend's CD.
Oh, who was in the war?
Yeah, the international music or something.
Our
the one-
Carlos Nakai. It's the guy.
No, the CD that, or you said the music is on the Pandora.
Oh yeah, that CD right
that's
there.
the CD?
That's the CD.
What's it called?
It's called Songs of
Songs of the World.
the Heart. Or no, Prayers on the Wind. I'm sorry, I
No, you
can't
said
think
a
right now.
different name.
Prayers on the Wind.
No, you said different names, something like international something.
See, Soundings of the Planet is the label,
Oh, okay.
but this is the name of the CD.
Yeah.
This is who it's his label.
Oh, I see.
So it's not mine. So they invited. He plays the silver flute,
Oh,
and I play all these.
Oh, I will check. I mean, I can't have that because I don't have a CD player anymore. I used to have it as
Well, you can find on Spotify.
On Spotify.
Spotify, Pandora, Apple, and there's one other.
Prayers on the Wind. Okay. Cool. All right. Great. Thank you very much.
I hope. Yeah, you're very welcome. I hope that.
Thank you. I wish I
that's
could.
Yeah, you're very
I
welcome.
can't play it, yeah.
I wish I had more
Thank-
time.
yes.
I wish I had more stories. Yes, sir.
I only got here for like the last 15 minutes, but amazing performance.
Oh my God! Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I have stickers in there. You can help yourself to a sticker if you want.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, you as well. Yes, ma'am.